Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Ancient Legends Challenge. In the last episode, Evo's ambition finally got the best of him. His constant need to impress his mother, to finally make her proud, has caused him to launch himself directly into a war with a local Arctic ramfox pack. It's looking pretty grim. Honestly, I don't see a future where he can get out of this alive. He's already taken a little bit of damage, and he doesn't really have that much longer in his lifespan anyways. Not to mention, his few little bits of backup here aren't faring so well either. Pineapple only has 3 days remaining on his lifespan. Fern is much younger, but I don't think that she's really into this battle herself. I can really see her trying to talk Evo down, try to get him to pull away from the fight. Because why on earth would he risk himself like this? He's supposed to be the leader. What are they going to do if he ends up passing away out here? He just won't listen though. He thinks this is the only way to prove his strength. So instead of skittering off like some scared little bunny, he's going to use the rest of his turns to attack these Arctic ramfoxes, which is just not going to be enough. I can't see him getting through this unless that truly intimidated them. Unless they're a little bit more concerned with the meat that's lying in the snow, this might be the end of Evo's reign. He's probably lucky that his mother doesn't know what he actually did. If you think about it, him leaving Tusk to freeze out in the snow is kind of like what happened in her past too. That was what kind of started this feud for her, when the resistance overthrew her family and left them to the mountains cold. She may have been harsh, she may have been brutal, but she did not leave her family behind. So Evo would not have been in her best graces if she knew about what he did. Now as for Fern, I don't think it would be out of the question if we assume that she might be expecting a baby. If you think about it, she really did seem to bond well with Pineapple. I would say that she's probably quite smitten with him, but she would probably try to keep any potential baby between them a secret anyways, because she knows it would be considered wrong. Her mother set her up with Jester, as per their alliance of course, thanks to their heat bodies and those inactive traits. So if she had a family with somebody else, that would definitely be breaking some rules. So let's cross our fingers that we can use her last 2 turns to breed with Pineapple, and then hopefully she can find some secluded place to have her baby once this entire thing blows over. I definitely want to put the digging trunk into Pineapple's mutation menu. I think it would be nice to keep that in her family. It would of course remind her very much of her mother. And likewise, I was thinking that we could actually put the red-brown fur in there too. I mean, if we could get a baby that's like a spitting image of Anarim, wouldn't that be the most amazing thing for her story? It would probably really intensify all of her regrets, to have somebody who looks just like her mother looking up to her now. We certainly don't need to worry about the digging trunk with Fern. In fact, I don't think she has too many genes that we need to be concerned with at all. She has perfect eyesight, blood clotting, even her fertility is pretty high. So let's try to weasel some different genetics in there instead. We could put the mask in there maybe. And you know, I'm also thinking about that claw. Maybe that would be particularly fitting of her baby. After watching this whole war go down, she would want to know that her babies are very strong too. So go ahead and breed with Pineapple. Thank goodness. And then we might as well actually pick up this root that she has underneath her. I mean, it's right there, and it's not as if she can use her turns to attack the Arctic ramfoxes anyways. Whatever's going to happen tonight, this is how we're going to have to leave it. Now I'm sure that Jester and Belle, they would probably hear that commotion up in the highest peaks by now. It would probably really confuse them too. I feel like they would start shoveling their way toward the attack, just so they would know that their babies are going to be safe. I mean, they might not be too concerned about Evo, but they have to protect their children. Since Belle is definitely the strongest here, I think she would be the best one to go shoveling up the path. Which means that Jester could probably plant himself next to the babies. He could keep them occupied for now, since I'm sure they're going to be very, very frightened. We'll dig out an extra place for them to play too. And then I suppose it might be time to bring Tusk up there as well. I mean, I kind of feel like Tusk, of all creatures, should be the one to witness this. He's the one who was betrayed by his brother after all. We'll bring Belle way up here. That's the last of her turns, so they won't be able to connect the paths. But they're so close now. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they would end up seeing what's going on. And there's our walrus deer, one of the many wandering around the mountains. Oh, and Clover. How proud you must be. Finally heading the charge instead of lagging behind like before. Honestly though, with all that commotion, I feel like he would probably hear too. And that's something that Kunukir would want to drag him away from. He probably knows exactly what's waiting for them beyond these peaks, since that was where Anarim's family was last seen. So maybe he would try to drag him away? After Clover opens up the path so our lovely walrus deer can join us if he wants to. There we go. I mean, honestly, I feel like he would have to land in a good swipe, but then it's Kunukir's turn to jump ahead. We'll leave the bunnies for some of the other family members, and we'll bring him right to the front. Oh, hello! The walrus deer was scouting on the stump too. Well, I think Kunukir would prefer to use that, so hopefully you'll scoot out of the way, and then we'll set him up right on top so he should be able to see the war in the distance. He'll be the one to tell the other members of his tribe what's going on. Unfortunately, Stone is getting very close to the end of his lifespan too. This is going to be his final day, so let's have him spend it just collecting the bunnies that hop in his direction. I suppose Fim could even join him. It would probably be a good pastime for the two brothers. A good way for them to remember their mischievous childhoods. We'll have to bring Tress into the mix too. I know she is really going to miss her family once they're gone. In fact, she's probably starting to realize that her time is also winding down to a close. Maybe it's time for her to seek out a partner herself. And I'm not sure if there's anybody more fitting than Clover over here. She was always the only one who ever really waited for him. Every single time he fell behind, she was never far away. He probably feels like she's the only one who truly cares for him and this family. So I'm sure it wouldn't be hard for them to start a life together. Maybe if they're lucky, they could even find a permanent nest, because unfortunately we don't have enough nesting material. We're going to have to find some more of those little twiggy bushes if we want to make more nests, but it kind of seems like most of them are located in Anarim's territory. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, and I forgot about you, June! I forgot all about this poor little sunbeam. Oh my goodness, he is completely buried in by the snow. I wonder if he can hear all the skirmish noises too. Oh, do you think he's going to see his brother fall to the Arctic ramfoxes? I mean, not that he can really see much right now with all the snow in the way, but he has to be wondering what's going on. He was actually being led in this direction by the bunny guides, but it kind of looks like they may have abandoned him now. He could probably get down here toward these pathways, the very same ones that I'm sure the walrus deer dug out. So let's have him shovel out the snow, jump up here, and then I guess you might as well pick up that root. I mean, it's right there. We know that he does follow his stomach in most cases, so the root is probably a bit more important. Now as for Skitty's school, I'm pretty sure that quite a few of her students are going to be graduating now. Toda has all 3 gems, Amanda has all 3 gems, and Hydra does too. So they can all move on. They can go join the war, and maybe go after the walrus deer. I suppose they could probably lend their services that way, since they don't have those giant horns. Kunukir would probably be a little bit less willing to let them near Anarim's territory. So instead, let's have Hydra jump way up here, right behind the walrus deer. Oh, if you could have heard this thing? Oh no! Oh, it outsmarted you, Hydra. If you could heard it toward your friends, then you guys could probably overwhelm it. Let's have Amanda scoot up here too then. Guess she could grab the bunny along the way. It looks like the walrus deer isn't really leaving us alone. But Tota, I feel, would have different plans. She was the one who was being guided by the bunnies as well. Ever since she was born, they were particularly interested in her. So if she could find a few more to follow, I wonder if they would show her anything of interest. Seems pretty clear to me that they want her to follow some separate bunny destiny, so we'll see what becomes of her story. For now, she will follow her family. She'll come over here, land in one good swipe at least. It's not going to do too much with her 1 in attack, but at least it shows that she wasn't completely ignoring their wishes, right? That way she can sneak away undetected later. That just leaves little Snowshoe and Skitty. Poor Snowshoe. He still has 1 gem left to grow. Oh, and he has a Hammertail too, so we better change that 2nd gem over to blue. He was the baby with the secret weapon, but he also has quite a bit left to learn. So let's see if we can find any more roots for you to dig up. It looks like there's 1 more back here. We'll have Skitty go ahead and clear out the way for you, so you can jump in here and dig that right up for her. I'm sure she will be very, very impressed. He is probably just like so fed up with this though. I'm sure he wants to go out and have adventures with his siblings. But Skitty is not going to let him leave until he has all of his gems. It is a very, very dangerous world out there after all. So I think we might finally be ready to skip the day. We just have little Ivory in the nest. I think I'm going to leave her right there so she can be right next to her sister. Though then again, maybe we don't want to risk spreading that cold. Let's have her come up here then. She can play with her father instead. And then let's go back to Avo to see what is going to become of his family. What is going to become of his fate? Oh, poor Pineapple. Oh, I knew that was coming. It looks like the Arctic ramfox he attacked before actually did pass away. But so did Pineapple, and I know that Fern is going to be so torn apart. Wonder if part of her thinks that this is even a punishment for her? For carrying Pineapple's baby, perhaps? For not listening to her mother's wishes? For having a secret baby that's far beyond this alliance? It is a lot for her to process, and it's not over yet. Avo still has 2 days remaining. So despite her attempts to drag him away, he's going to go charging after the next Arctic ramfox, leaving only 1 remaining. At this point, I'm sure that she could technically swoop in and save the day. She could land her hits and hopefully get rid of this Arctic ramfox. But I feel like she's probably just frozen in fear. She's just watched the love of her life get torn apart by these creatures of vengeance. How could she possibly support Evo now? I love how even the bluebirds are getting a front row seat to all of this. They also seem quite interested in the skirmish. It's the only bluebird that we have on this island too. I almost wonder if this bluebird is maybe communicating with our deities. Maybe that's how Animeme and Melody knew what was going down on this mountain. That's how they knew they had to step in and send in some of their lackeys. But before we go moving anybody else on this side of the island, why don't we come back to this walrus deer before he ends up getting away? Actually, if we start chasing him directly up the mountain now, do you think maybe we could carve out a pathway for poor little June? I would love to have him reunite with somebody, so he's not going to pass away all alone on the tippity top of the mountain. So let's see. If we could bring Hydra up this way, I suppose. That way the walrus deer at least won't go toward the battle. Hopefully anyways. Walrus deers can be very, very unpredictable. We'll have Amanda jump over this way. Oh no, that's exactly where it's going. Kunukir, you better land in a couple of good blows too. No, you're not going to save June? Oh, our poor little June. He desperately needs somebody to rescue him. He's like the princess high in his tower. Who will come to his aid? Well, maybe if you jump down this way, you could block him instead. Alright, that's a little bit better. Come up behind him. Oh, this walrus deer. Oh, you are trying everything you can to confuse our poor tribe. Well, I guess at the very least, he's probably going to lead them toward the ports. We do need our tribes to kind of meet up right in this area, so we can finally leave this island and hopefully find some more mountains. So I guess he's helping some of our creatures that way, just not really the ones that we were hoping for. Well, maybe you can scoot your way down here anyways. There we go. Oh, the bunny guides haven't abandoned you after all. You can save yourself, June. We'll have you scoot on down here, and hopefully the bunnies will keep this pathway clear. That way you should be able to come up straight behind this tribe. You'll probably run straight into Skitty, actually. She'll still be back here trying desperately to get Snowshoe to listen to his lessons. Do we have anything else they can dig up? Well, we actually have one right here by the tree. And that bunny burrowing through the snow. I'm sure that's what Snowshoe is hearing right now. That's probably really what he wants to go after. He is done with all of these silly little roots. He wants a real challenge. Something that he has to chase down and take down too. It's not like Skitty can be too disappointed. She might not be able to take down the bunnies herself, but I guess that would actually make her more impressed with his work. So why don't you come on over here and pick that up for him, so he'll have something to snack on later. Now, did we find any nests out here? I don't feel like we did. We haven't unburied anything new. We could perhaps bring Triss and Clover down this way toward the hot springs. Sometimes the permanent nests are set up in those locations. Whoops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, okay. That just happened. Oh, Fim. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. I mean, they do have different immunity genes, so we know that their baby is going to be healthy. Gameplay-wise, it's fine, but story-wise? Yeah, story-wise, that is not exactly what I was expecting out of Triss. So we're going to have to find a way to explain that. Those accidental mouse clicks will get you every single time. Well, Triss, on the plus side, it doesn't look like you have very much to worry about anyways. Hey, and maybe your baby will even have the bird beak in their inactive traits. Wouldn't that be fun? I suppose if he passes that, would that actually pass above the digging chunk? Ooh, that would be interesting. Maybe there is still hope to this family after all. We do still need to find her a nest though, so hopefully Clover can find her something. I mean, honestly, we could just say that this is still his baby. Technically it's not, but we could pretend that it is. Oh my gosh, I hate it when that happens. I'm blaming it on that little bunny that Finn was trying to catch. Well, Toto was heading in this direction anyways, so let's bring her down here too. She can help you clear out all of the snow. But I think we should really turn our attention to those twiggy little branches. If only Pineapple was still alive. That was one of his favorite things after all. Just picking up those twigs and making crafts out of them. That was part of what initially captured Fern's heart. Oh, you know, we could actually get rid of these nests down here, since Belle isn't going to be using it right now anyways. I still want her to have a few more babies, but that at least gives us enough nesting material to have her baby as soon as possible, so we can get that out of the way now. I feel like we should probably have Jester settle on this side of his baby. That way he can still protect Sylvia, but he won't risk spreading the sickness even further if he does end up catching it too. I wonder if Ivory might be excited to follow her mother. And I feel like she would probably tell her to stay put, stay in that nursery, don't you dare come chasing after me. But she is still just as fiery as Belle, and I don't feel like she would listen. So as Belle takes her steps up to the peaks, she gets a first-hand look at the drama going down. Sylvia can follow very quietly in her shadow. We could bring her right up here next to Uncle Tusk. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. And we'll have her dig out a little bit of the extra snow. That way the pathway will be nice and wide for anybody returning. Likewise, I guess all we can really do is have Fern dig out the pathway too. Probably startled seeing so many creatures come up behind them. I'm sure it would be pretty easy to startle her now. So this is it. Now, Avo didn't attack this Arctic ramfox, so I don't know if the Arctic ramfox is going to attack him. It might actually be more interested in picking up that food, but this is our chance to see. Let's go ahead and skip the day. Is this Avo's final day on the mountain? Oh! The Arctic ramfox has not only spared him, but it's also left their food? Isn't that strange? Do you think maybe they're trying to show him some form of mercy? But it's on his very last day. I mean, he is not going to go out like this. He is going to go out in a blaze of glory, right? I think even now his ambition is going to be too much. It's what's gotten him into this mess. and it's what is going to finish his life as well. So go ahead and attack the Arctic ramfox. Attack the bunny too while you're at it. Look at this giant feast. He probably thinks that everybody is looking at him now with sheer amazement, just pure shock and awe. But in reality, they're just pitying him for being so misguided. Fern probably can't even bring herself to go and collect all of that meat. She's just staring mournfully at the remains of her fallen love. And she's wondering how on earth she is going to get herself out of this situation. Now that she's been reunited with the other half of her family, with Jester too for that matter, she's going to have to talk herself out of this one very, very quickly. And it looks like Melody may have finally been appeased. It's probably because she knows that Avo is just about to pass away. How fitting that now is when it gets cold on the mountain. It's almost as if her spirit has left us, knowing that peace is about to settle in on the mountains again. Wait a second. Oh my gosh. Do I see twins in the nest? Oh, how cute is it that? Oh, we have this little one who actually looks quite similar to Clover. Well, with that digging trunk and all. That blonde mane is also super, super cute. And he does have the bird beak in his inactive traits. Excellent. Unfortunately, it looks like it's actually a little bit less dominant than the digging trunk. I thought maybe it would overpower it, but clearly I was mistaken. He is really cute though. On with our secret weapon too. He's one of the most decorated of the ancient legends at this point, with 3 of those ancient genes on him. Now his brother didn't have the digging trunk, but he does have the Megaloceros horns, and he also has one of those digging paws, so at least he can still do a little bit of root collecting, but he's probably going to want to leave most of it to his brother. Yeah, I'm really not sure how exactly we're going to explain this, but at least the babies are healthy. Honestly, I guess there was no better pair for that mistake to happen with. So we'll name this baby first. The next name on my list is Thunder. And then as for his brother, the next name on my list is Pip. So welcome to the tribe, you two. Pip is actually a super, super cute name. He looks like a little Pip, doesn't he? He's a bit smaller than some of his other tribe mates, so it fits such a tiny, cute name. Now soon, all that will be left is to pick up the pieces. Soon Ava will pass away, and then it's up to Fern and Belle, and Tusk too, to decide what's going to happen with their family. I mean, I feel like at this point, they've kind of changed in their ways. I don't think that Fern wants anything to do with this mess anymore. She is definitely going to carve out her own path now, charge somewhere deep into the mountains. Maybe they'll never even see her again. She could at least come over here to pick up all of these tiny little branches. That way she'll have just enough material to make her nest. But then she is gone, drifting away into the snow like a ghost. Tusk, I feel, is probably pretty done with the idea of leadership too. After all of the drama that took place, I'm not sure if he would be so willing to take the crown anymore. I feel like that affected him in a bit of a strange way. Maybe instead he would prefer to be a bit of a loner too. Go off to those ports, make sure that everybody can get to them, just do his own hard work without the crown hanging over his head. And that would instead leave Belle, big, strong Belle with her 9 in strength, to lead the tribe, with all of her little babies, and hopefully a new flame in the next episode too. We have to see if we can get that heat potty before we end up leaving. So Belle, I think, is going to be a bit more of a peaceful soul when it comes to the resistance. She would probably try her best to explain that there's no bad blood between them. They're family after all, and as far as she knew, that was one of the most important things on this mountain. They really need somebody to pull them back to their initial goal and remind them of the ancient legends that their ancestors were searching for. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!